rivers in my bones, how I came home to myself. This is not a highlight reel. This is a remembering. I first realized that I was not living inside of myself, but surviving around myself. At around age 27, I had lost all of who I was. I was being the wife I thought I should be, and I was being the mom I thought I should be, and I was being the entrepreneur, clinic owner, massage therapist, yoga teacher that I thought I should be. And that really leached into all parts of my life, and it just felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. Who was this person within me? Who was I when I didn't have a label or a job or a title? Who was I at my core, my center? So I basically had to burn it all down. And it started with a pretty explosive fight with my ex-husband. We didn't fight often. I think we had like 5 fights that I can remember in the 16 years we were together. And in that, he basically told me that I was the problem and that I should get therapy. And so I did. And at one of my therapy sessions, I said something that I didn't even realize I had said. And I said that my nature has a place. And my therapist stopped me. And she said, "Did you hear what you just said?" And I said, "Nope." Because I was just talking. And it was just a space where I could finally speak freely. And she said, "You told me my nature has a place." And I wrote that at the front of my journal, and I pondered it more and more, and it came through more and more. And that was the beginning of this deep change that needed to happen for me to step into myself again, to come home to myself. So I burned it all down, and now 10 years later, I live in a different country. I do most of my transactions in a different language. I am no longer married. I am with a new incredible partner. My kids are so much older, and I am the healthiest, most healed version of myself I've ever been, which is why I've come into this space, which is why I'm sharing this journey, even if it was incredibly hard and full of tears and frustration and every other emotion imaginable. Love was a huge part of me finding myself and healing myself. And it was love on so many levels. And it was like the most beautiful love for my children. And it was this craving for love that I wasn't having fulfilled in my marriage. And then it was this finding of this beautiful, raw, just unbelievable love that I didn't know relationship could be. And those things were all a part of me healing, me coming into myself. And I think losing the version of myself that I had imagined I would be and the life I had imagined I would live, losing that, in losing my marriage, in closing that chapter of my life, was a huge catalyst for me to finally look at a future that could be different. And so I had to lose everything. I had to lose the life that I was living, the life I had planned to live, and then step into this new life, this new picture, this new story. And that is where I could finally step into my body more. I was living in such fear and anxiety and worry. And when I left that behind, my body finally started to speak up. And it had been screaming at me for years. And there were little things that I listened to, but I definitely didn't listen to everything. And so I I had a meditation practice that I was doing, and I had been doing yoga for many, many years, and I was trying to get into my body, and I was trying to tune in, and I was trying so hard to find alignment in myself and a resonance in myself, and I wasn't finding it. And I would go into these beautiful meditative states, and I would have this electrical surge go through me as I was meditating. And it was this incredible feeling of connection to myself, finally. And then I'd get up from my meditation and it'd be gone, because the rest of my life was not in alignment, because I was living something that wasn't true. So my body had been giving me many, many signs, and I had ignored them to the point where I was incredibly sick and exhausted and dealing with so many health issues. And now, living in this state of much deeper embodiment, I can look at what my body is telling me. I can feel what my body is telling me, and I can take that a step further, and I can say, I need to support myself this way today. I need to voice this opinion. I need to state this sentence. I need to share this thought. And that wasn't something I could do before, because I wasn't listening hard enough or deep enough or clearly or closely enough. So it wasn't something that I lived. I maybe had this inner world, but I don't have voices in my head. I have pictures, I have music in my head, but I don't have voices. And I know that that's maybe different from some people. And some people have a whole Greek chorus, and some people have one voice, and I don't have any. I just have these pieces of music that flow through me, and then I have poems that'll just come through as a download. It won't be that I'm thinking it through and I'm mulling over every word. It comes through as almost a fully complete poem. And that's how I think. That's how my body and my being and my emotions come through me. It comes through music, it comes through poetry, and then it comes through movement. I need movement so desperately, and if I don't have it, I'm not embodied. If I am sitting in stillness for too long, that's not embodiment for me. So yes, I can find stillness, but the movement is where I can move through, and I can change, and I can shift energy, and I can shift layers and levels. So I want to say that you need to let silence exist. Let emotion exist. It is not a mistake. That is medicine. So in burning the old and creating the new, I had to release the old me. I had to truly step out of all safety, all comfort, and I had to just leap. And there were so many ways that I did that, and I have so many stories, and I'll share them slowly through time. But I had to let my marriage die. I was with this person for 16 years, and I had to release it. And that was the biggest, scariest thing I could have ever done for myself. I was 19 when we met, and very young and quite naive. And I had to release who that little girl was, because I was just a very innocent, naive girl. And I had to look at her, and I had to release the dreams that she had. And then the fear of being alone in a new country with 2 children in a new language was a huge part of what took me so long. But it was years before that. I was just scared to move into the world solo. So that, I don't know, it kept me from finding my way back to myself for so long, because I was stuck in this place, this relationship that wasn't serving me, wasn't serving him, wasn't serving our family, and releasing that was terrifying. And it scared me so much. And the idea of dating again was like a nightmare to me. I'm not very good at dating. I'm too honest. I'm too clear. I don't beat around the bush, and I thought that that would be a problem for me. I thought that that would be a hindrance, and it turns out that that was the greatest strength that I could have had for me when I found my now partner. When I finally stopped abandoning my body, the panic and the anxiety rose like a tsunami. And it was so crazy because I had a few major panic anxiety attacks following a big trip in my life and coming back. And those, I won't share the whole story right now. Again, this will be a future story. I went on a big trip, a big thing happened, and then I got back and I started to have panic attacks because I was trying to force myself to fit into this life, this box that I didn't fit in anymore. And so me finally stepping into who I was panicking in the craziest ways about where that would take me and what I was leaving behind. And that was so hard to move through and to continue to grow through, but I did. I had to keep going. There was nothing that I could do to go back. I couldn't fit back in the box. So I had to move forward. I had to move on. So this poem came through in that season. My soul is made of starlight. My bones are made of their dust. The sun glows through my heart, and the moon shines through my eyes. I am everything and nothing. I am golden white light, the blending sun and moon. I always have been, infinite. So if this story resonates with you, if this poem resonates with you, everything I'm sharing, everything I'm bringing into the world is linked below.